vengeance?
There's
no profit in vengeance.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, presented by CinemaSins.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, a weekly look at everything going on inside the world of CinemaSins. I'm Aaron Dicer, and this week I'm joined by fellow bafflegabberer Ian Whittington.
Everyone has been fired apart from us.
We write for CinemaSins and TV Sins and do various other things inside the CinemaSins universe as
Just
well.
us.
Just us.
No one else.
Just us. We're the only ones left. So everything you can blame on us. I do like that for some reason I pronounced your name Ian Whittington with a D at the end. That was,
Did you? I didn't even notice.
wait, how did that happen? That was wild.
That's interesting. My mum will dislike the way that you pronounce my last name, even normally.
Oh, how should I do it to please your mother?
Whittington. How should you do it to please my mother? First of all, is a great sentence. But yeah, second of all, it should be Whitting.
Don't I usually say Whittington?
Whittington.
Whittington. Wait, hold on. What am I missing? Hold on. You want me to do a British accent? Is that what you want me to do?
Just pronounce the T. So Whittington. You can say that in an American accent. You turn the T's into D's.
Whittington. That's what I'm saying. What are you
saying? Stop putting so much emphasis on the D. It's Whittington.
I'm not.
Whittington.
I'm just saying Whittington.
Whittington. Yes, there we go.
Well, that's what
you can be taught.
Okay, but if that's an English accent,
it's not.
So this episode will just be Ian and I arguing with each other profusely.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I like to enunciate things. I like to enunciate things.
Yes.
I like to say, Wednesday. I like to say February. I understand that letters mean something.
But not regularly. You draw the line.
I will not say the word regularly. I will not say it. That is where I draw the line. Whittington.
Perfect.
Whittington.
Yes, with a H at the beginning. Whittington.
Excuse me, sir. Shall I get you some tea, Mr. Whittington?
Much better.
Thank you.
Smashing.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, I apologize for that, Ian's mom. I will try to do much better about pronouncing the T's that are in your surname.
Fantastic.
So,
she will appreciate that.
Surname.
Surname?
Does that get confusing in England? Having a surname?
I don't know if there is a surname on record. Can you imagine if the last name was first name, last name, surname? Surname. Sir?
Yes.
Sir's the surname.
Yes, sir. Surname, sir.
Yes. And they were in the army. Yeah.
Hey, let's do some behind the sins. Let's get into the SinSide Scoop.
What's he building in there?
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
This is a true story.
We're going to take a look at the videos from the week, the process of sending them, how we felt about the stuff we are sending in general. Right off the bat, we got some Old Spice.
Yeah, we do.
This is one of the most famous commercials of all time.
I think so. It's great that we've waited 2 years to do it.
Ian, I think you did this one. Tell us a little bit about the process of this one.
I did, and I got found out so quickly. I got 2 direct messages saying, "Hey, you wrote this." I was like, "Oh, nice." I think it may have been the "There Are Four Lights" thing that gave me away, because yes, of course, there was a Star Trek reference in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I remember this commercial coming out, and of the 60 million views it has, 59 million are mine. It's hello, ladies. Look at me. Look at my hand. Look back to me. There is just something so charismatic about his voice. The way it's written was unlike any commercial I'd ever seen before. It was just really well written, really snappy, really quick, and then just bonkers as well. And it's not often that commercials are really, really quotable. But the amount of times I would just say, "I'm on a horse," just to end a conversation. That's it. My point has been made. I'm on a horse. But yeah, it was so much fun, and I've really got into Chris's voice and Chris's delivery on commercial scenes, and that narrator has such an extra level of snark into every single thing they say. All of the narrators are snarky, but he just like has such a venom behind everything he says. So it was really fun. It's always fun writing.
Yeah.
Like these little snippets and just going extra bonkers because there's no rules of commercial sins. It's just you want to stick a They Might Be Giants reference in there, then you go ahead and do it.
You want to stick a Star Trek reference in there? Feel free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's in your hand? My dick.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It was amazing. Right from the Whiplash warning, I was in love with this video. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. The whistling stuff is really fun, really great.
I won't do it because that doesn't come off well on podcasts.
Let's have a whistle off.
No, because I'm smiling now.
Okay. Try not to smile. Here we go. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. It's better than I can do. I thought you were going to nail it.
No, I just had a grin. Wait, I've got this.
Don't smile. Don't smile.
Out in the edit.
Don't smile. Don't smile. Don't smile, Ian.
No, you're telling me it's great.
There you go.
No. Smiling too much. No. Close. Pretty good.
Pretty good. It was a little breathy. It was a little breathy. Yes, very nice. Very nice. It made me remember whistling conversations we've had about different ways to whistle and how you've learned to whistle. And whistling has always been one of those things I'm supremely interested in. I'm very jealous of people who can whistle different ways, and I've managed to teach myself many of them. I still can't do like the fingers in the mouth, like really loud, like whistle
I even
thing.
saw like a really simple instructional video, and I still can't do it. There's something I can't make that noise.
Yeah, and I really worked at it. Like there's whistling through your thumbs. Have you ever whistled through your thumbs?
Oh, do like the bird call thing?
Yeah, like the bird call thing.
I can't do it.
Yeah. That kind of thing. This is great podcast material. People are going to be like, please bring back the other people. Please bring them back.
Finally, they hired a Foley artist, but they're really bad.
But the most interesting one was I had a boss one time who would kind of warble his whistle, and I was like, how are you doing that? And he just told me one day, he was like, learn to whistle with the tip of your tongue touching the roof of your mouth. If you can learn to whistle with the tip of your tongue touching the roof of your mouth, then you just remove your tongue. And so I worked on that for years and eventually was able to do it. But yeah, that's so.
And you can do it. This is like the multi-toned whistle. It's really creepy.
So yeah, and it's just learning to whistle with the tip of your tongue touching the roof of your mouth and then moving it back and forth. Anyways, really enjoyed this commercial sense. I also liked the what am I going to do with a fistful of diamonds? As if that was a downgrade to They Might Be Giants tickets.
The amount of comments that were like, you can buy tickets with the money you used to get from the
This is going to be a week of oblivious commenters. I love it. Like there is part of us that's just like, how far can we troll it? We'll get to it here soon, but yes, the Old Spice one was great. All right, let's move into TV sins. Kick it off with back to Mandalorian with the Prisoner episode. This was a Watkins Whittington script, so you and Jonathan writing on this one. Listen, I'm an American. What can I say? I am enunciating the way Americans enunciate. T's and D's are very similar, sounds. Like if you're not,
it takes a conscious effort.
It really does. It really does. Sorry, this was a Watkins Whittington script.
Watkins, nice. Nice.
This was the Mandalorian. Tell us a little bit about continuing on with season 1 of The Mandalorian and catching up on that.
Oh man, you may as well drop me in the middle of like a show from the 60s. I had no idea what was going on. And I was like, this is one of those times where I do not have the time to binge watch all of The Mandalorian to know what's going on. So I was like, fine. And what I love about this show is the bottle episode-ness of it. And yes, there's a running undercurrent and some follow on more than others, but they love playing with the single episode stuff as well. And this is such a little bottle episode
nice.
that doesn't make any sense on any level, but it's really fun. I really, really enjoy it. And I was surprised how much like the comment section was like, oh, we hate this episode, it's the worst. And I don't know, I like it. I think it's fun.
I think it's a good episode. I actually enjoy it.
I think it's great. I really enjoyed it.
The Bill Burr stuff is great. I think he's so perfect in this world.
Just right level of sarcastic.
And after seeing him in this and Breaking Bad, he's in Breaking Bad as well. He was also in the his name just slipped my mind, from SNL. Did the movie about King of Staten Island. He's in the King of Staten Island as well, and does some really
know.
Really
Jonathan
good work.
would know if he was here. He's already telling you who directed it and what year it came out. And
I know this person's name. It's just that brain thing where it's like when you need to know, your brain's like, nope, locking it down, buddy. You're not going to remember.
No, you're not getting this. It's got too many T's and D's in it.
Samuel
L. Jackson.
Anyhow, I like Bill Burr, so I enjoyed this episode as well. Everybody in the chat, by the way, is Pete Davidson. Yes, thank you.
There we go. Well done. So, Pede, Tab, it's
yes.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I immediately knew what this bonus round was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he said, like, we don't ask questions, immediately asks a question. And then my brain was just keyed in to listen for questions. And I started off by noting every single question. And what's in the bonus round is half as many questions as there are in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I trimmed it down to just the ones that seem to be prying into the stuff they're specifically not supposed to be asking about. It was so much fun, and we originally did that at 1.5 speed, but it went by a bit too quick, and I think the slow burn on it it gets funnier and funnier as you get further into the joke, and the more and more questions that pop up. It's a grubber.
Yeah.
This was the video that I referenced last week when I said that you said vengeance weirds. Did you notice how you said vengeance?
No, I didn't. I still didn't. I should listen to that. Is there a timestamp?
I don't have the timestamp, but it's kind of...
Did I not pronounce the G properly enough for you? What is it?
No, it's like vengeance. There's no profit in vengeance. It's at the part where they leave Mando behind, locked in the prison cell. Yeah, I don't know why, but there's no profit.
All right, listen. You're going to edit some of this out, I'm sure, but we're going to take some time here, and I'm going to go find it because I have to know. Okay, so I just listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're insane. That sounds just like somebody saying vengeance. I don't understand. No, it isn't. All right, now I have to play it. All right, let's see. Share screen. All right, let's see.
You deserve this!
But why? What are they gaining from throwing Mando in the prison? Vengeance? What is that? It's just
weird.
Vengeance. I think sometimes, Ian, I just think like you need to spend more time with Americans.
I'm trying. Okay, well, I'm glad we satisfactorily covered that off and definitely came to
I think maybe what you're hearing, what you're hearing is the sarcasm. Like I think, like it's. I think it's just kind of changing maybe a little bit of the sound of the one.
Vengeance. Someone else's Nick. Sorry. Stop referencing the comments, but somebody in our live chat has spelt it out correctly, which is vengeance, and that's how you say it.
Right, because I'm like vengeance, like sarcasm, right? Like
Oh man.
So
anyway,
it's called acting, Ian, and some of us do it. Okay, it's called acting.
I'm a famous voice actor. So Aaron reviewed this script, and I loved how excited he got by in television being mentioned. The comment was just in television, yes,
yes.
And you messed with some of my writing, Aaron.
Did I? What did I do?
You did. You said devoid of joy. I mean joy. You had to add a little bit extra in, didn't you? I was like, damn it, why didn't I think of that?
Did I make it better? I mean, this is what we do, right? Yeah, we make each other better. Yeah. I hate that. Well, here's the backstory for that. Not intentional.
Amazing. Yes, that's even better. That's great. Devoid of joy.
That just happened.
That's all is forgiven.
Yeah, nice. Good. Yeah, I really enjoyed this as well. Both the episode and the Sins video. Wait, so it's known in universe that stormtroopers can't hit the broadside of a
Right.
bantha, and yet they're still being used. Is such a great point. Feel free to acknowledge the joke that stormtroopers can't aim, but you have to understand that means nobody's doing anything about this problem.
Yes.
And yeah, it's
You
amazing.
can own the criticism that everybody has of you, but you're then living with it as well.
Yeah, totally.
dumb.
I loved that. We mentioned the bonus round, and then for whatever reason, these are the ones that gets me. These are the ones that get me, guys. Somebody says Mando, and the narrator just says Polo, and it's the simplest thing, and yet it makes me so happy. So I really did enjoy that.
I laughed a lot when I read that as well. Like,
Yeah.
Mando, Polo. So dumb.
It's so dumb and so good. All right, let's move back into Moon Knight. We're back to sitting Moon Knight. Due to reasons, we had to delay the rest of the Moon Knight series, but they should come pretty quickly now. So yeah, we're on to episode 2, Summon the Suit. This was a Dicer Watkins script, so Jonathan and I writing on this one. I really enjoyed this show. It's interesting. It's all done now, and I've heard a lot of commentary from different people that I listen to, different friends who enjoy pop culture, and people are kind of all over the place on the reception to Moon Knight. I have friends who hate it, thought it was really bad and boring, and I have friends, including me, who really loved it. I thought it was just nice to have a different kind of story in the MCU that didn't depend on the blip and, all that kind of stuff. And when you've got Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke in it, you're going to have a good time. On a sins level, some of the stuff on this one, behind the scenes, the logo sin about was interesting because it ended up being a sin on the Sega logo screen instead of the Marvel, blaming Marvel that other people are trying to do this. I thought that was there's a beautiful take on this on Bo Burnham's Inside Outtakes. I don't know if you've managed to watch the hour of outtakes that Bo Burnham has released, which should be its own special. It's great, but he does this inside universe, kind of the Inside Cinematic Universe, the ICU, the Inside Cinematic Universe trailer, nice. And it's really funny. But so, anyways, I did some research on what all those different things were in the Sega logo and called out Choo Choo Rocket, knowing full well somebody in the comments will be like, I like Choo Choo Rocket.
100%.
I'm there for Choo Choo Rocket. Listen, there is no greater guarantee in Sins writing that if you say something is, not worth paying attention to, somebody will chime up and say, I want to pay attention to it. It's just human nature.
That's my favorite thing. How dare you shit on the thing I like?
Exactly. Yeah. Also, I was researching some ways to tell the difference between the two characters or some words, some Englishisms. And so I wanted Ian to get because I don't think we've talked about this, but I called Steven Pommy needs his mommy. And Pommy is not a word we use here. So I did a lot of research trying to make sure it wasn't really offensive.
It is.
So is it okay? Is it really offensive?
I think the Australians call us pommies more than anything.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's something to do with potatoes, something like that, because pommes frites are potato chips, I think, in France or whatever. So it's very old fashioned. You never hear it.
Okay. So when you heard it, what did you think? Did you just think that's something we know?
I knew what it was. Yeah.
Okay,
No, I knew.
okay.
I was just like, you don't hear that a lot anymore.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure it's what the Australians call us. But
okay. And then the other thing in this episode, this is where I just started getting infuriated by mirror shenanigans.
Mirrors everywhere.
And it's not just that mirrors have to be everywhere in places that normally wouldn't be that reflective. Fine. It's the rules. This show does not care to establish the mirror universe rules in any way. And because of that, I get frustrated because I want to know what the rules are. Why can he appear in the fish tank when, he's not really looking in the fish tank at that moment? And then why can he jump over to the other mirror? And
Mark is bent over, but Steven stood up. It's you're not acting like a mirror anymore.
Yeah. And are we just supposed to believe that's all in like Mark's head, and so it can just be anything it wants to be. Well, if that's the case, then why doesn't certain other
Why is
parts?
it in a mirror?
Right.
It can just be anywhere.
So anyways, that was the other thing that kind of stood out to me here. What are some of your thoughts on Moon Knight Summon the Suit?
Man, I still don't know if I liked this show or not. I think I did. I liked that it was different. I liked that it was spooky. I loved the stuff with Khonshu. I got a little bit tired of Mark and Steven. In fact, I got a little bit tired of Steven. I loved Mark. I got a little bit fed up with Steven. I think... Oh, no, and I've forgotten her name.
Pete Davidson. I think we should just call anybody we forget. Just call him Pete Davidson, move on, and then people will fill in the right answer.
I think Pete Davidson was a great representation of a woman in a comic book series getting something juicy to do. Layla, flipping heck, I liked the character of Layla. I really got on with her, and Summon the Suit was fine. I think after a great first episode, Summon the Suit went a bit wackadoodle, and it was very tropey, like the Sins video brings up with Ethan Hawke saying, "No, please be my friend. I'm on your side." I was like, we know you're not. We know you're the bad guy. It's fine. And Layla does make some terrible, terrible decisions, and not nearly enough moon knighting until the last, very, very last minute, which is incredible. But give us more of it. It is ironic that we chose this video to come at Marvel for their action scenes when it contains one of the greatest action scenes that Marvel has ever filmed.
Yeah.
I love when Ethan Hawke is describing how like calm and peaceful the neighborhood is. Gentrification was very nice. That was good.
Yeah.
And Minority Report. I just liked the puns in this one. It was very
And
good.
it works. It works well.
Absolutely does when describing Amit. Absolutely.
So that is Moon Knight, episode 2. I think we can move into CinemaSins. We'll start with Uncharted. This is a Scott Whittington script.
Nice.
So, sorry, Scott Whittington. And Ian, tell us a little bit about writing on Uncharted and how you felt about this movie.
Yeah, didn't watch it at the cinema, just watched it for sinning purposes. Never played the games, but appreciate their kind of position in pop culture and how they're revered as pretty much the best Indiana Jones style video games, like especially like on PlayStation. But I was always an Xbox person, so it's probably why, because it's always been a PlayStation exclusive. But I remember people being so excited for this movie, and then being slightly less excited when Tom Holland was cast, which is fascinating, isn't it? Because everyone loves him, but it doesn't mean you have to cast him in every single role.
There's part of this that I think is a result of over-saturation of info. So what I mean by that is we live in a culture now where every decision a producer makes about a movie that people care about is known. It's somewhere, somebody leaks it, somebody says it. For the most part, I'm speaking in broad generalities. But so the idea becomes we are paying attention to movies years before they hit screens. So,
100%, yes.
For a long time, for a very long time, until, the internet age, we would go see what the names of the movies were on the marquee.
That's wild.
And then pick one based on the poster or the name and go watch it.
Duck.
Right? And then fan culture became very much about like eating everything involved with the movies you love, right? Like I have to consume it all. I have to know all the behind the scenes, all the details, those kind of things.
Have a reaction video to it.
Have a reaction video to the announcement of something that might happen in it at some point 3 years from now. Like this is what we've become. And so because of that, Uncharted has been this thing where it's like Nathan Fillion would be perfect to play him. And then such and such is directing this movie. And then now they're not directing this movie. And so when you talk about being upset about Tom Holland being cast, I think a lot of it has to do with that culture of, oh, some of the other things I heard were better. And, just we care way too much about this stuff.
It also isn't helped by the fact he was really bad in this movie.
but that's after the fact.
Yeah,
and I don't think he was as bad as you think he was. But yeah.
Maybe it was that first line that just put me off. When he kicks the person off of the aircraft. He was like, "Oh, that was totally reactive. I'm so sorry, Mr. Stark." Like, it was so Peter Parker. I couldn't believe it. Like, oh, I'm just watching a moody Peter Parker in this film. And
man, that's tough, man, because like you're almost blaming him for being too good at his job, right? Like you're almost blaming him for, in a little bit, because he is so Peter Parker. Like everything that, like, there's so much of Tom Holland that has become Peter Parker that, like, it's the typecasting thing. Like, how will you ever see him as something else?
Yeah, but Aaron, that's acting. Like,
no, it's not. It's not, though. People think that that's acting, and it's not. Acting does not mean you can change some of those core attributes about yourself.
I think it does.
Few. There are very, very few character actors who are able to do that. Meryl Streep, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Daniel Day-Lewis, like these people become other humans, right? And we look at that as like we expect that from everybody. That's not everybody. Kevin Costner is Kevin Costner in every single movie he does. But we don't blame him the same way we blame Tom Holland for, that sounds like something Peter Parker would say. Well, yeah, because Tom Holland's saying it. It's not like he changed.
If that's the case, then don't cast him as Nathan Drake. Like, don't cast him as somebody that isn't Peter Parker.
I mean, that's fair.
What we're saying.
That might be fair. Yeah.
I'm not saying Nathan Fillion would have been fantastic at it. I'm just saying, at least, I don't know.
Do you think he aged out of it? Do you think he would have been too old to do the role now?
Absolutely not. Harrison Ford can absolutely do it. I just think Nathan Fillion is. I honestly don't know why they didn't pick him. To be honest, other than he's just not out of favor, but out of the consciousness a little bit.
He's not out of the conscious. Well, for some people.
Well, I mean, he's on TV. He's not really movies.
I think it's probably a franchise thing, right? It's probably get a really young actor in there so that we can make 10 of these, over the next 20 years or whatever.
Why pick Tom Holland when he's clearly tied up in Spider-Man?
He's not, though. He might not be. Really? Yeah. Well, I mean, his contract's up with Marvel.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, they'll renew that shit. Come on. Anyway, back to the movie. It was, the casting was, even as somebody who hasn't played the video games, the casting just felt all wrong. There's no chemistry between Wahlberg and Holland at all. Didn't get that dynamic. And then the movie itself was so much fun to sin because it was like sinning a 90s action movie. It was it was almost like a Johnny English film with the amount of ridiculous action in it and borderline Fast and Furious levels of ridiculousness as well. All of they survive this, and then just not a very entertaining treasure hunt at the heart of it either. It's all double crossing, and that can be quite tricky about when to sin the double crossing because there's so much of it in the movie. It's like, well, when do we want to pull this apart, or are we just going to mention each time?
To me, that was the worst part of the movie was how desperate
double cross.
Yeah, how desperately it wanted to have big reveals, and it's like they can be fun if they make sense in the story and they're interesting, but it's not how you don't start with, okay, these are going to be the 3, big shocker moments.
Exactly. Let's build the story around that.
Yeah.
No. Jeremy losing. So sometimes you read a sin and you're like, that's funny. And then Jeremy delivers a sin. And this is the one where Mark Wahlberg swings off of the boat and then just, excuse me for a minute, son of a bitch, this is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen. I did not like that. It's so great.
Well, it's how he says okay when he comes back, right? Like he comes back and he's like, okay, I did not like that.
It's so calm. It's so great. The narrator leaving the room scenes becoming some of my favorites. I love the take on it was like mapping, planning, flexing. We must show Tom Holland flexing.
Yeah.
And I love that I've managed to organically get Jeremy to do 3 Scottish accents in 3 Sins videos.
Nice.
There's the Kingsman this and one that hasn't been released yet. But they came about very naturally, and I think he's honing his craft very well. Oh, and I'd also like to say that the doodle of Nessie fucking the Loch Ness Monster exists. I made Jeremy draw it.
Yes, our Slack is an interesting place.
It really is.
It can be. Yes, I believe my comment was, why is Chewbacca doing long-term hospice care on a Rancor?
Yes.
You mentioned the ones that I wanted to bring out. I thought this video was very funny. As far as the movie itself goes, famously, I can give myself to bad movies. People know this. Like, I can have a fun time with pretty much anything unless I get super annoyed at like the rules breaking or time travel or, things that just my brain wants to fixate on instead of whatever the story. But if you're just telling a dumb adventure story and I kind of like the people involved, I'm going to be okay. This one was close to as middle of the road as possible for me. Like, I'm just like, some points I was like, oh, that's a fun visual. And other points I was like, well, this is a boring scene. So overall, I do think this movie had a couple of moments that were fan service in exactly the wrong way to do fan service. I'm specifically thinking of the beach scene where Nolan North shows up, who I didn't know before this movie, but the movie makes such a big deal about it that I'm going...
it takes you out of the movie so quick, even if you don't know. It
completely takes you out of the movie.
Yeah.
And, the only way you're enjoying that scene is if you're in on the joke. That's the only way you're enjoying that scene.
Yeah.
And that's the wrong way to do fan service. The scene has to be enjoyable even if you don't get it. Otherwise, you're alienating and distracting people.
Absolutely.
And
massively distracting.
And yeah, it's one of those things for me where it just kind of took me out of the film and I didn't enjoy it. So, but great work. Loved the video. Good stuff. You mentioned the journal about the sexual acts of the sexual antics of imaginary beings.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, just making sure we got that out.
Oh, yes.
All right. Let's move into Ron's Gone Wrong. This was a Dicer Hughes script. Danae and I writing on this one. Danae sent in some thoughts, and I think we should hear those first so we don't repeat anything unnecessarily. And I guess I'm just now realizing I haven't listened to this at all.
Oh, no. No, you haven't, because you didn't have permission. I hope she knows that.
So
I'm going to message her quick. Is it safe to play?
Without listening. So it's always fun giving Danae the stage, and we will do that. So yes, Danae is going to have some thoughts on Ron's Gone Wrong.
Hey BTS fans, so I cannot be on the show this week, but I wanted to share my thoughts and feelings on Ron's Gone Wrong, which is very different than thoughts and prayers. I just wanted to clarify that. I did not know what to expect when I was watching this movie, and I was surprised at several moments. First of all, Zach's vocalization when he mimics the kid and the adults, it's one of like the comedic elements that really worked for me on Ron's Gone Wrong. You shouldn't be surprised by that if you know me. I love mimicry of sound, and I just thought it was really clever the way there was a couple scenes in particular where he mimicked voices, and it made the scene even more funny. In particular, the scene when they're at the school, it was just really funny. I don't want to like go into super detail because I don't know if you've seen this movie and it might not make sense, but just know that the way that Zach vocalizes this robot, he mimics how words are given to him. One of the first times it happens is when the kid Barney opens up the robot packaging and meets this quirky robot. He calls him Absalon, and he always does it as a question. And it's just like one of the examples where every time he says his name, Absalom, it's like this really specific tone, which is very robotic, but also personable. Like the robot is accidentally being funny, but it shows the cleverness of some of the writing and some of the delivery. That was probably my favorite part of this movie. But the second thing that I wanted to point out is this terrible moment when I misunderstood a scene entirely, and it changed a lot of the film for me. So Ron is in the playground. Ron, the robot, is in the playground introducing the kid Barney to these adults and this baby and this parrot that he has brought to the school to be Barney's new friends. And it's this great scene of just misunderstanding. The robot is misunderstanding what its purpose is. And Barney is just mortified that this robot has done this thing. And so Ron is going around introducing these characters, the biker, the kind of like crack addict, maybe the parrot, the old lady, and the baby. And the parrot had like pooped on this picture. And it was like a baby picture of Barney. And Ron is holding it out saying that the bird had commented on the picture, meaning that the parrot pooped on it. I missed that the parrot was responsible for this like little white gooey bit. And I thought, because I had looked away for a split second, so I thought that when Ron the robot says that he had commented on the picture, I look up and I see that there's this goo. And I thought that the movie was saying that the cracked out character that had just been introduced before the parrot was commenting on it with ejaculate. So this is when the movie took a really big turn for me, and I was very confused and concerned about like who
Holy
this movie
shit.
is for. It shaded the entire first part of the movie. I thought, okay, so this is like a really, that was a lot. That's a lot to have in what I thought was like just a solid kids movie, but this is clearly not a kids movie anymore. So it's not hard enough. Like the whole, everything that came before it wasn't turned up to this level enough. And now I'm concerned for the children that are watching it. It took a second watch for me to understand what the scene actually had happened, and I completely missed that it was the parrot pooping on it. So I guess it says something about the writing of this chaotic movie and Ron's nature that this misunderstanding was plausible in the first place. I mean, it certainly is not me just having looked away from the screen for, 40 seconds too long. I think that the movie is warning us about the dangers of like social network and the importance of making friends. But none of those points are shown to be very important because the movie spends the entire last act, which is like this ridiculous heist stuff, which by the way defies any logic or any sense of this world building that is attempted to allude to. Like there's just so much that happens there that just defies reason. But anyway, they spend so much time on that I think that they miss really having an opportunity to be more specific about what its message is. Like, I ask myself, what message does this send to the audience? Whenever I'm watching these things, and especially when it's a kid's, I'm like, what message does this send to my kid? Like, how would Iris at age 5, if she was to see this, what would she absorb? And she'd be like, oh, cool, pretty robot stuff. She wouldn't pick up on a lot of the subtlety and things like that, obviously. What would a 10-year-old, consume from this? And I think this movie is just kind of really wanting us to love a robot. That's kind of about it, because the message, I feel like it just gets lost because they don't spend time really developing that. I don't know that a kid is going to understand that Ron's, unique disconnection from the network or the cloud or whatever that ultimately gives him his quirkiness. I don't think that they're going to get that that's the missing piece to peace between robots and humans. I think kids are going to watch this and want to have a robot that's really cool and plugs them into the social network. I think that they would miss the little subtleties, like the fact that when these children are live streaming, that the bully kid doesn't have any viewers. It took me watching it a second time to see that there were 0 viewers. I missed that. So I was thinking he had people that were watching his content. And they might not be watching live. They might be watching like a VOD later. But kids are probably going to, look at that and be like, oh, I want to stream live too. So I don't know. I just feel like that would be more of what this movie showcases. I think this movie shines because of Zach's portrayal of Ron, and they kill Ron at the end. So there's really nothing to look forward to in another movie where Ron comes back. I guess they can just upload him into his own new bot at some point in the future, but then that completely undoes the meaning of the end of this one. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Ron's Gone Wrong.
Oh, that story.
Man.
I knew it was coming, and still it came. Yeah.
Everything that came before.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
that was wild. I remember when she told me that, I was like, Danae.
Save it for BTS.
No. I just at what point do you just stop and go, is this about a pedophile? Like, what is what is
It's too far, even for
there's
a tongue-in-cheek movie.
No possible way.
Man.
So there you go.
Wild.
Some of Danae's thoughts on Ron's Gone Wrong. Besides the story mentioning some good points, I will back up a lot of what she says, including the fact that the ending of this movie is the worst part. What it does to needlessly bring us all these dramatic moments that don't make any sense in the plot is just kind of silly. The technical stuff about how Ron has to sacrifice himself so his code can be downloaded into every other robot. Is he all of the sudden not a robot or can't be in a different robot? Like, it's the weirdest thing to look at this stuff this way, and highlighting the narrator's anger at all that was really, really fun. I got really unnecessarily upset about the fact that these two girls were using their robots as skateboards and then taking pictures of each other as they were doing skate tricks and then calling them selfies. That made me inordinately angry.
Words are important.
Words are important. They mean something. Words mean something. That is not a selfie. Most satisfying part of sending this was the basketball court. And just
I knew that was you. I knew
when
it.
you notice something like that, and you're just like,
why?
In what world do you paint the entire court when you're only putting up one hoop? What is the point of the other half of that court? And again, it's not like the hoop was ever there. There's no hole for it. There's no place for it. There's, nothing. So when you spot something like that, you just know it's because they don't want to have to animate a hoop in the middle of the playground that is then going to come into play anytime they have to do playground shots or something like that. But it just looks so silly.
Just do half the pitch then. Just do half the court.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes. No, pitch is fine. No, I understand. I understand, Mr. Whittington, what you mean by pitch. So I wrote a sin specifically for you, Ian, in this script.
Yes, I think I can guess which one it is. It was in my list of sins.
I will leave it there then. I won't mention it. And then the other bit of research I did for this one was research on prime numbers. And it's interesting because clearly, thank you, comments. Thank you for expling that 2 is both even and a prime number.
Come on.
Thank you. I understand that. The point was that the teacher has both things on the board without explaining it, and those are contradictory statements. If you don't explain, would be very confusing. And in doing the research, there are mathematicians who do not call 2 a prime number. There's literally a mathematical argument not to have 2 be a prime number because of its special, they call it a special kind of number that they wouldn't call prime.
But it is, because it's divisible by itself and 1, so by definition it is a prime number.
If that is your absolute definition of prime number, then yes it absolutely is. Because words mean something.
Yes, they do.
Anyhow, doing that research was interesting.
That's fun.
So there you go. What are some of your thoughts on this movie or Sins video?
I have not seen this film. I was really hoping the Sins video would help me understand it, but once again, that's not what Sins videos are for. I vaguely get the impression that it's a commentary on the overusage of technology and the illusion of privacy and kids and stuff like that. Cool. I didn't get the impression that Ron was as cute as I was expecting him or her or they to be. Are they?
Yeah.
Do they come off quite well in the movie? I
mean, Danae mentioned it. Zach Galifianakis does a really good job with the voicing of the character, and I think Ron's adorable. I think he comes off as maybe adorable is not the right word, or cute, but it's like there's this quirky silliness to it that really works. She mentioned specifically how, because he's so limited on his abilities, which, by the way, the movie decides when it needs him to be limited on those abilities, but that he will, when he's learning people's names, he just repeats it completely with the intonation that they use. and cannot change it.
That's amazing.
So it's fun. Yeah, I think he's cute.
Okay. Well, so yeah, that's all I can say about the movie, but I love the Sins video. Disney whips out their eye penis and waves it around the movie. They now own cliche. Eye penis is great on so many levels. Well, I guess two. To be honest.
Two. Basically just two levels.
Narrator has an issue with how color is spelled, so you can't just go adding U's where they don't belong. America! Like, damn it. I love that so much.
My favorite part about that one is that the Murica is spelled with a U.
Disproving itself.
Disproving itself is so fun.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
I hate the villain says I hate kids, and if you want me to hate your villain, stop making him say some reasonable things. Yes. So true. And there was a nitpick in the nitpickers. For a nitpicker in here that is from me that I'm just going to put in straight away.
Oh, okay.
Leaping into a hole in the floor with a 20-foot drop just because you like Star Trek is not a sin. That's what normal people do. That's perfectly acceptable. What is he supposed to do?
What's he supposed to do?
You have to jump into it.
Yeah, of course. It's the final frontier. Yeah.
Great.
I thought you'd like that one.
I did very much.
There you go. That's Ron's Gone Wrong. All right, let's continue on. Let's move into the comment section.
I want to know what you're thinking.
I appreciate your honesty. You're a real straight shooter.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
We're each going to pick a comment from last week's content from the various places you reach out: Discord, YouTube, Reddit, etc. Mr. Whittington, what do you have?
This may actually start a little bit of a debate, Aaron, which I quite like.
Okay.
And it's from Moon Knight, and it's from an individual called Sun Prism, or a collective. Could have been either.
Sure.
This is the series that made me realise that Marvel TV is starting to look like failed Marvel movies that don't bother to edit down. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved it, Moon Knight, but there's no way it wouldn't have been better as a movie. What do you think?
I agree. I've made this point. It is unfortunate to me that they are just making bloated movies and splitting them into episodes instead of really taking advantage of what television can do that movies can't, and understanding because WandaVision did this. WandaVision was a television show.
Yes.
I mean, by definition, it was literally in the plot a television show.
Yes.
And maybe that's the only reason it was. A lot of the others should have been moved. Moon Knight should be a movie, 100%.
It feels like there's so little logic to how these 6 parts are broken up, other than, hey, we need some sort of a cliffhanger, which is just a change in scene. Obi-Wan Kenobi, we're only 3 episodes in, but I'm absolutely looking at you as well.
Yeah.
These things should be movies.
Well, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was originally supposed to be a movie. And that's the thing is, it's... Just make the movie and put it on Disney Plus then. Or make a 4-hour movie. When you're on a streaming service,
and you don't put it on Disney Plus, yeah.
Right. You don't have to, people can pause and go to the bathroom, and you don't have to. I'm just saying there's so many things you can do. You can think outside of the box with your streaming service and do some fun storytelling, but match the storytelling to the format instead of, trying to force it into its own kind of thing. Yeah, there's something, we talk about on the on Captain's Pod, which we're doing Strange New Worlds now on that podcast, and that is a TV show, man.
Heck
and
yeah,
it's just like that is it's just we've lost in so many ways the idea of what television can do. What I mean by television is episodic content, right?
Yeah.
And there's an argument to be made that some movies are episodic content. That's fine. But when you go see a film, it is also that film, right? And so that
should be. Yeah.
Well, it should be, right? But that is so there's some differences there to episodic content where you watch an episode, then you talk about it for a week and watch another episode and talk about that one for a week, or this leads right into the whole other annoyance I have with modern streaming culture is that Netflix decided that binge mode was the way to go, and it is such the wrong way to watch television. Binging TV, you may think you enjoy it, but it's in the same way you enjoy eating a whole dozen of donuts, right? Like it's delicious, yum, but it is not good. You'll feel like it's just not the best way to enjoy it. And they are so hard-lined on that. They're starting to do some sort of episode drops on some stuff, but it's just, I think other streamers are being aware that maybe even a combination where you like drop the first 2 or 3 and then you go weekly, that kind of makes sense, because then you give people an opportunity to know what the show is.
That kind of makes sense. It makes less sense to me when it's only a 6-episode run, because it's like, if your first episode hasn't hooked me, you're 20% done. If I'm not hooked by the first 20%, something's not right.
But make a TV show. Just make a TV show. Don't make a movie and weirdly, split it up.
It's so strange. Though I liked that comment a lot, because it kind of put a pin in exactly why it wasn't reaching me and wasn't hitting me, and I was falling asleep during the finale.
Yeah. I'd love to see that movie. I would love to see that movie tightened up and
Ethan Hawke, Oscar Isaac, absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Let's see. My comment comes from Frank Kemp.
I know what you're gonna do here. I nearly mentioned it myself.
First of all, this is a great comment. Even if it wasn't from Frank, the fact that it has blaming Ian in it and 600 people liking it has nothing to do with why I'm mentioning it. But Frank says the fact that this is not called "Everything's Gone Wrong with Ron's Gone Wrong" is a sin within itself. You're absolutely right, Frank.
Yes,
100%. The title should have been "Everything's Gone Wrong with Ron's Gone Wrong."
I don't understand how that's my fault.
And then he says, "I blame Ian." Damn it, Ian.
Great.
Yes, about 600 people have liked that comment, Ian. So how does that make you feel?
My favorite reply at the very end of that is, "Wait, is the CinemaSins guy called Ian?" And I'm like, 10 years into this, and people still don't know who the CinemaSins guy is. It just brought me some hope. And if you'd have shown that video to Ian watching the Amazing Spider-Man video back in 2012, that eventually there would be a comment confusing me with the CinemaSins narrator.
Yeah.
I would wonder what multiverse I had slipped into. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that is fun. So there you go. That was my my comment from the comment sections.
We will get it right if we ever sin Everything Everywhere. We will have to do something clever with Everything Everywhere Wrong with Everything All at Once.
All at once, yes. In all at once seconds or less.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have another chance at it. All right, let's get into nitpicking the nitpickers of the nitpickers.
But we wouldn't want to nitpick, right, Danny?
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more.
Actually.
Oops. What do you mean, oops?
Missed it by that much.
Am I just going to nitpick everyone until they leave me?
Ian takes a look at some actuallys from the comments, and we decide together if the commenter was green, yellow, or red. And then we get our vengeance.
I have got a clear red that I completely missed and shouldn't have done as the English person. All 3 of these come from Moon Knight, because, man, do people not like they like our Moon Knight videos, but do they love to pull them apart? Like, I got roasted in the episode 1, in episode 1 that we did with the healing stuff, the blood, whatever. So when Steven lands and he's really, really excited, did the narration say that he planted or got planted? Sorry, the subtitles.
That's what the subtitles said. Yes.
That's so fun, because I heard planted as well, because I was loaded to hear that.
Yeah.
But he absolutely does say, "I did it, you got clarted." And as soon as the comments pointed that out, I was like, of course that's what he says. Because
what does that mean? I've never heard that word.
Clarted means that you've been hit. You've been knocked out.
Yeah. Totally makes sense. But that is not what the subtitle said. The subtitles say planted.
Strange, isn't it?
That happens sometimes. I was just watching something recently where somebody was making a joke about Jesus H. Christ was like this guy that lived at the same time as Jesus Christ and always got mistaken for Jesus Christ. And watching it with subtitles on, because I like watching with subtitles on. And he says something about, and everybody was always coming up to him and being like, "Hey, Jesus, can I touch your hem?" Because there's a story in the Bible about touching the hem of Jesus's garment in being healed or whatever. And the subtitle said hand, and it did it 3 times, even though it was clearly him. But whoever did the subtitles probably didn't know that reference or whatever.
Yeah.
So this happens in subtitles sometimes, and I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that the subtitles were wrong because that's what I thought it said. Because when you read something, it's what you hear. When you read it, it's what you hear.
I know the word, and I still heard planted.
Yeah.
Both times that I watched the episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just really. What I will say is,
and you meant it's an absolute green, right? Meaning they're right.
Green. Sorry, we're red. They're green. Who made this system anyway? But what I would say is, with some level of confidence, Stephen would not have said clarted.
Oh, okay.
It just doesn't match the rest of his language. Like, clarted is like very kind of street. It's very like kind of rough around the edges. And that's not what Stephen strikes me as.
Okay.
Like, it was a really strange choice. It was like, hey, let's find some Britishisms and stick them in there without any context.
Yeah.
It was an interesting one. Another commenter said donut is absolutely an insult in the UK. I have to agree.
Okay.
You donut.
You raspberry Danish.
Raspberry Danish, not so much. And there's one that I think, I don't know if you have to weigh in on any of these because they were all about English language stuff, Aaron.
It's almost like you picked them.
Almost. I think I need to rethink this segment. In the Queen's English, the sin is that somebody is called a fancy, or Stephen is called a fancy drunk.
Right.
Because of their costume, and the narrator then says, well, the costume isn't fancy, like they look a bit strange. And the commenter says, in the Queen's English, fancy dress or fancy is their term for costume. So when they said he's a fancy drunk, they mean he's a costume drunk. No.
That's a no? That's a red?
That's an absolute red. Like, if we would not say you're in fancy or you're fancy clothed. Like, it would be you're in fancy dress.
Yeah.
And that would be a Halloween costume. Fancy dress is like a costume.
Right.
But it wouldn't just be, oh, he's a fancy drunk.
So you're backing up that they are saying he's a dressed
posh
up
looking
drunk. Yeah,
exactly.
a posh
That's
drunk. Yeah.
absolutely what is meant when it's being written like that. Yeah.
I wondered if there was a little bit of like high society kind of but posh. Yeah, posh kind of has that
posh drunk.
Yeah.
No, the narrator was correct, and I rest my case.
Nice. I have one that I want to bring up because I mentioned we would talk about it later.
Would exclude you.
No, just because I mentioned earlier about how we troll the comment section sometimes and are never disappointed. We have come to the place where we will see something that is probably uncommon, and then we will have the narrator say it never happens ever in the history of ever. No one has ever. Like, we try to make it so
over the top,
obvious and so over the top. And let me tell you, you cannot make it over the top enough that the comments won't be full of people saying, I like chocolate and vegetables. I like both chocolate and vegetables.
Oh, I guess I don't exist.
I guess I don't exist. That's the reason I said no one like this exists. That's the troll. No, like it's just.
And if you are lying. Well, I'm not.
It is just. There is no end to the depth of our obliviousness as humans sometimes, and that's okay. But it's so funny to see. It's not upsetting. It's genuinely hilarious that we just know. We just know. If you look through that Ron's Gone Wrong comment section, it is every fifth comment. Somebody is saying, I like chocolate and vegetables. Okay. Yeah. Well, yes, we understand.
There we go.
All right. Let's finish up today with some Sin to Win.
Wait, what do you want to do? You want to play a game?
Please, nobody ever lets me play.
I want to play a game.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
Competition is meaningless.
We're going to play a game together to separate the winners from the losers. You probably will. Listen, I don't know what we're doing today. I'm going to suggest something, and this may completely fall flat, or it may be a lot of fun. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Have you ever played the Alphabet Movie game?
Oh, I have. Yeah, so this is name a movie with the start of the alphabet.
So first person names a movie that starts with the letter A because that is the first letter of the alphabet. The next person and every following person has to name a movie with the letter starting with the letter that the last movie ends with.
Oh, an
so
extra level.
you have 10 seconds to come up with a movie that starts with whatever the last letter of the movie is. So I'm going to pull up a timer. And we're going to see. We may play a couple rounds of this. We'll see how far we can go.
I almost thought we were going to do the version where you have to name all of the previous films that were mentioned as well.
Yeah, that's the travel game. Like I'm going on a trip and I'm taking a
shopping
word
list game.
and a B word and it sounds like we're taking swear words when I say it that way.
I'm going to bleep you for all of that. I'm going to take it.
I'm taking a C word. What? What are you doing? What is going on here? All right, let's load up the timer. 10 seconds feels right.
Yeah, I guess. Cool.
That's actually a long time. We may take that down to 5 after the first round. We'll see.
Okay.
Reset. So I'm going to have to hit reset and start each time. I'm just making sure I understand this. Okay.
Or you can load up 10 timers.
Ian, do you want to go first or second? I will leave it up to you.
I will go second.
Oh, you'll go second. All right. And away we go. Anaconda.
Avengers Endgame.
Ooh. End of watch.
Ooh. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
You're going to just give me ease. Extraction. 5, 3, 2.
Oh no!
1. Oh my goodness!
I know. I was too busy thinking about the timer.
That's what makes these timed games interesting, right? You can certainly think of a movie that starts with the letter N, right? If there's no time frame, you will think of a movie that starts...
Story.
The never-ending story. But yes, I would have given it to you.
Oh, okay.
We didn't clarify those rules, but
okay,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody would be a good one. So interesting. Okay,
1-0.
1-0. I think 10 seconds actually is a good amount of time. I think that works pretty well. I won last round, so I guess that means you go first. Should I give you 10 seconds to think of an A word? All right. I didn't think I had to, but the timer has started. 5, 4.
Apocalypse Now.
What about Bob?
Bend It Like Beckham.
Mighty Joe.
Ooh, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Dang it!
Once you get past, if you haven't done it in 4 seconds, you're not going to do it.
Your brain just locks down.
Yep.
It locks down. All right, 1-1.
There are no films beginning with E.
None.
A consonant. A vowel.
None at all.
Wow.
All right. So I get to go first this time. It is 1-1. I'm having fun. I don't know if anybody listening is having fun, but I'm having fun.
Broken after a few seconds.
All right, here we go. Also, I should mention, due to the way we edit podcast, the 10 seconds may feel like less than 10 seconds at times.
It may do, depending on how I edit this.
Yes, depending on how it's edited. Let's see. We will start with Animal House.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Weekend at Bernie's. Woo!
Oh,
1 second left.
Shawshank Redemption.
Nobody.
Damn it. You only live twice.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I need a list of E movies so bad.
Oh man.
Yeah. I can't think of E movies. Why?
Enchanted.
Why is it so hard? Why is it? I know there's plenty of them.
Encino Man.
Yeah. Well, thank you for throwing those out. Now I have some E movies in my
ready to go
in my quiver.
Oof.
It is 2-1. So I get to start again. Annihilation. 5, 3, 1. Wow. It's just the letter N. I just need to find E is my kryptonite. N is your kryptonite.
North by Northwest. Damn it. Like, just in my head. Okay.
I'm just wondering why you didn't go with Never Ending Story, since it wasn't actually technically used in it.
Didn't you take it? Oh no. I couldn't get nobody out of my head. Okay.
All right.
This is the decider.
This is the decider. Best of 5. Here we go.
Oh, Alien.
Never Ending Story.
Damn it. Yuma 310-2.
5, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, man.
Oh, you got it. I'm gonna give that to you. North by Northwest.
No. The Terminal.
Okay. Little Women.
News of the World.
Comment section. Come on, comment section. Dave.
Encanto.
Othello.
Ochka. The animated one.
Yes,
Okja.
no,
Yes.
I'm with you. Okay, Okja. What's that start with? An A?
Yes.
All the President's Men. Whew, that was close.
Ooh.
5.
Never Back Down? No, that's Step Up, isn't it?
3, 2, 1.
North by Northwest.
I already did North by Northwest in this round.
This game. Congrats.
There you go.
Well done.
3-2.
Well done.
Okja! What did you call it at first?
Okja.
Okja or something? I don't know what you were calling it. That was amazing. Well, I don't know how fun that was for you to listen to, but I always find that fun. We used to play those kind of games as like time killers at like amusement park video or amusement park rides. Like when you have to wait in line at amusement parks, we play stuff like that. Now everybody's just on their phone. It's just like we've all got little distraction devices we carry us around with us everywhere. It's like you don't even have to play those games anymore. No wonder our brains are, decrepit.
It's amazing that we don't look forward to queuing more often because we all want more time on our phones. So we should be reveling along lines at Disney.
That's right. Well, there you go. That's going to do it for Behind the Sins this week. Don't forget to make sure you're subscribed and go ahead and leave a comment or rating as well. Got anything you want to send us? Mail it to P.O. Box 881 Republic, Missouri 65738. You can hang out with us on Twitter. He is at Wits End.
DENEESAYS.
I am at Aaron Dicer. So for Ian Whittington, a C word, and myself, we will see you next week.
Happy Coral Triangle Day.
Thanks for listening. Send any feedback to bts@cinemasins.com and be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. Find more ways to connect by visiting cinemasins.com/BTS.
How was your ear?
Not great.
No, it got worse.
I woke up. I can't hear out of my left ear again.
Oh, no.
So, but it was fine for a while yesterday. So I don't think like I ruptured anything. I just think the wax is all shifting around and being a butt.
Being a butt. If there's one thing you don't want earwax to do, it's to be a butt.
Did you do the awful thing when you were
Yes.
in... Okay, we can just stop there. Did you do the awful thing in like in whatever you would call high school?
High school?
Okay, all right. Didn't know.
Or secondary school.
I almost said
high
secondary
school.
school.
Is quite
I almost said secondary. So anyway, the horrible thing in high school where you would like do a couple things like to girls like, hey, can you lick your elbow? And then you say the other thing that people can't do is touch their elbows behind their back. Did you ever?
Oh, and then you get the boobs out.
Yeah.
No, because I'm not a terrible person.
I was a terrible person, apparently. Well, it wasn't that. I mean, we just thought it was funny. Like, I just thought it was a funny thing.
Yeah.
And things now I look back and go, that's not really funny. It's really
not.
exploitative.
I think the one that I saw was that guys can put their hands above their heads and jump, but it's physically impossible for girls to do the same.
So lame. Oh my goodness, that's so lame.
But to prove the point, they're just like, yeah, okay, and then jiggling happens.
Yeah.
And even, I will quite happily say, even young Ian was like, you're dumb for doing it, and you're dumb for making them do it.
Yeah.
Everybody in this situation comes off badly.
Yeah. I'm going to just pretend it's the benefit of like an extra 10 years of culture progressing, that if I was born the same time as you, that I would have been that way too.
Yeah,
but no, you're just a better person than me. I think that's where we land.
Is the pull my finger thing really that common, or is it just a cartoon thing?
There were plenty of fart games. Like, I mean, it wasn't like I definitely guys of my age grew up in community showers, peeing on each other, farting on each other, like being gross to each other. Like that was definitely part of the rites of, the teenage years or whatever. So, I never got supremely gross with that stuff. Some of my friends did, like really gross stuff. Like
they just pooped on each other?
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, like like literal flinging feces kind of stuff.
It's unreal. Oh man. Community showers terrify me.
It's
like the thought
worst.
of them. It's terrifying.
Did you ever have to take part in that?
No, never. Like there was like after only when we went swimming. But I would skip the shower. I was like, it's okay. I will just think of chlorine and then I'll shower when I get home. I'm not doing it in front of everybody.
I had community showers up through my freshman year of college.
Oh my goodness.
Each dorm floor had a community shower at my college for the freshman dorm.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy.
And it was this tiny little shower box with like it was a square, it was a square room with a door that went in like on the left. And there were 2 shower heads on each wall. So literally this tiny little square box, if there were supposedly up to 8 people that could shower in there at the same time, you would all be butt to butt. Like depending on which part of you were washing, you could be front to front as well.
Everything to butt.
Yeah, lots of docking possibilities, but it's
I do take issue with you saying little shower box. That's the size of the shower box shouldn't matter.
It does, though. It absolutely does.
It's what you do inside the shower box that counts.
That also matters, but the size of your shower box absolutely matters. Here's the thing. You can't have it both ways. You can't be both repressed as a society and then have these standalone moments of freedom and whatever. Like if you live in a society where nudity is just normal, people change at the beach and change at the pool or whatever, then fine, community showers make sense. But you can't live in this society that's like, hide your shame, human, don't show those parts of your body together. But then shower together. Like you're just asking for
exactly
awkwardness in those cases. Phone calls. Who on the earth makes phone calls?
Nobody. Just text. Like, don't call me.
How dare you want to speak to my voice?
I know. My mum tried to ring me earlier and I said I will be available at 6 unless you want to text.
Here are the hours of operation where I can take a phone call. They are between 3:05 and 3:06 a.m.
I have a whole rant about voice messages, especially WhatsApp audio in particular. I just You are taking something away from me. When you send me a voice message, what you are saying is that your time is more valuable than mine.
Wow.
Because,
this is
yeah,
blowing
100%.
my mind. Rant this even. Like, what do you mean? I'm so confused.
I can, whatever you're going to say, I can read quicker than I can listen to it. 100%, without fail, every single time.
Okay.
I can scan through it and read it. However, it is quicker for you to say it. So what you're saying is that you don't have the time to type, but you are fine with taking that time away from me by making me listen instead of read. And the fact that you can now speed up voice messages has just given people the right to make even longer audio.
That is some real self-centered BS right there, Ian. That is...
Do you not follow the logic?
No,
yeah,
that
it is from the person sending the voicemail.
No, that's all on you, man. That's how, like... Somebody wants to reach out to you, and they want to use a form of communication that is more expressive, that is able to be understood better, that has a little more nuance to it. And your response is, how dare you waste a few extra seconds of my time by communicating to me better?
Minutes. So, okay.
Minutes. Come on. Well, how are we wasting minutes?
More specifically,
it could be argued, by the way, that it saves time because I don't have to follow up with several text messages clarifying things that were misunderstood because text isn't a great way to communicate.
Yeah, but time. Like, I'll figure it out. I'm a clever dude. I'll get your intent. If you're being a dick, then I'll find it out. More specifically, it's when you're having a text conversation and then suddenly an audio appears. And I'm like, no, like, you don't even know that I'm in a position where I can listen to this right now. And now you have deadened the conversation. Anything, wherever you wanted this to go, I'll catch you in 3 days. Like, there are like entire unanswered messages in my...
This is a you problem.
No,
this isn't something you need. This isn't like, please put the toilet paper over the front of the toilet paper because that makes more sense. This is...
I mean, that does.
It does. But this is a you thing. This is like you expecting the world to bend to your idea of reality. Like, this is interesting.
I guarantee there are people out there that completely agree with me.
Oh,
and
sure.
They are correct. Stick to one medium. Like, why suddenly send me a 3-minute message that I have to listen to? And I'm like, no, I can type. I now have to zone in on that.
What you're saying is, quit making me pay attention to you.
Yes, that's exactly it. Let me do it in my own time.
Go away.
And then they know if I've listened to the message or not, so I can't just make some shit up. Like, I have to at least have pressed the play button. And
why can't you just text back? I can't listen to this right now. Can you text me?
No, but that's communicating. Come on, that's asking far too much. That's being reasonable. Because then that's putting it on me. That makes me feel like a dick.
You are the dick.
But you're the one that changed the conversation.
Like, so, okay. So if we're like in the same room and we're communicating like non-verbally and all of a sudden I start talking, you'll be like, hey, quit changing the conversation, man. How dare you go into audio?
Right, even better. I have to wait the 6 minutes it's taken you to record that audio, and then I have to listen to it as well. Whereas you just type and send, and I'm like reading it.
Yeah, but you have to wait. I mean, listen, if it's audio, you're going to have to wait 15 minutes for them to type it versus 5 minutes for them to say it.
It forces you to be more concise.
You already said this. This was already part of your point. Was that the person on the other end is saving time? Well, they're also saving you time having to wait for that typed response.
They're saving their own time and then using that time to waffle. So I never see the benefit. I just get more waffle.
You're rarely wrong, but you're wrong on this one. So, yeah. It's interesting to me when people claim selfishness by being selfish. Like, they claim someone else as being selfish in a selfish way. You know, it's like...
Both things can be true.
Do it my way, because...
So my point is that I'm not forcing you to listen to my audio. You are forcing a change upon me, which makes you the more selfish of the two.
It's not true. It's just
so true.
No, it is not.
It is so true. You need to ask permission first. Like, is it okay if I send audio instead of text? Because I'm in a
Which is better.
It's a bit complicated and I need to ask permission. And then I can say, no, please text me.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. In most friendships, it's just assumed if I need to change to communicate better, I can change. Like if I'm having trouble communicating with somebody or something is, not being understood in text or whatever, I have no problem if they want to send audio instead, or honestly, if they want to call, like if they're just like, look, we just need to talk this out. Let's talk. Like, because text literally is the worst form of communication amongst all the options, like slightly above not communicating. I will get annoyed if somebody calls me instead of text me right off. But if we are texting and it's not working and you call me, that's fine.
Yeah,
change it
that's
up.
fine.
Change it up.
Exactly.
What do you mean that's fine? You just said it's not fine. You said it's not fine to change it up.
No, it's fine if you text. Wait, what did I say? No, it's fine if you... Yeah, no. It's to go to a phone call. From text to phone call, not text to audio message.
What the? You're going to make my brain explode. Ian doesn't like audio messages on his messaging apps. Noted.
No, I don't.
Noted.
Yeah.
And don't you dare send him an animated GIF and change it up, buddy. You stay with text.
No, I could communicate exclusively with them. Honest, I could.
How
go
dare
an
you
entire
change it
year.
up? We were having a nice text message, and then you showed some video. I don't take time to watch your video.
A GIF is an upgrade because it communicates more than text
so
does.
Is the spoken word? I know. Ian has officially entered into really caring about something when he does Muppet arms. My wife and I have this rule. Tell me how you feel about this. By the way, in the outtakes, you'll hear so much conversation about text call rules, but here's another one. My wife and I have this rule. If a call is disconnected, the person who made the call originally is the one who calls back, right?
Correct.
So,
I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter which one, as long as you decide which one it is ahead of time.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So
you have to have this rule. Otherwise, both people are just going, like, who calls? Because then you're just getting busy signals or whatever. Yeah. By the way, phone calls are this thing we used to do back in the day where you would talk to somebody in real time on a device. You may recognize them now as the most annoying feature of WhatsApp, which is the audio message. There were 4, then 3, now 2. That's right. Next week, it'll just be me. I'll just be, like, guys... Listen, I don't know how to break this. Nobody wants to do the show with me anymore.
Aaron would do it. Absolutely
apparently
do it.
My opinions are too strong, and they all got tired of me.
Some BTS-tubation.
Yes, exactly.
Question. Have you taken away my permissions from StreamYard? Because you have, haven't you?
No, not purposely. What it probably means is that you're on either a browser, a machine, or just some new iteration of the software that hasn't been signed in.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if you went to StreamYard.com, it would probably say, hey, here's an email or whatever. And
Got it. Yeah, because now I can't press any of the buttons or talk to the chat. And I was like, no, I fucked with it one too many times, and I've been
demoted. For Ian Whittington, a C word, and myself, we will see you next week.
Oh, shit. Happy today. Bollocks. Oh, man. That's so annoying. 1 second. I can add this on the end.
Happy today, bollocks.